What do you mean a solidified relationship?
Like to where you can say this is my girlfriend, this is my boyfriend.
No, bitch, we go together.
My thoughts process is, I think it's a red flag. For one, he lives with his mom.
And it's not like my mom is like, go wash the dishes and dump out the trash.
She literally just said that before he left.
But we're working it out.
Who?
I said we. Me and you are working it out.
That was actually his first like song. Every other one was just like him rapping on the beat and stuff.
I think people was tired of him
That was the only
doing
enjoyable
spoken
one.
language.
Yeah, he was getting a lot of like hate from that.
Freaky ass nigga, he was 69. That was the funniest part.
It was funny. Dude, I like the whole West Coast part. Like him.
He sound like what's his name? Sugar Sweet and Sweet Tea. What's his name?
I don't know.
You know, nigga that he a pimp and he rap. He be like,
oh yeah,
I bet your hoe got
yeah.
the phone on right now. So until I go call it, it's gonna be about that.
That dude is funny though.
That's how you sound. Sweet Tea or something like that. Sugar Sweet.
It is Sugar Sweet, I think.
Yeah,
Like
I like him. I didn't listen to the other ones. I feel bad.
it's all right.
And that literally just came out like 6 minutes ago. 6 minutes and 16 seconds ago.
That was his best one. That was Kendrick's best one. Because
Whose
it
side
was
are
like,
you on?
I'm on Drake's side.
Why?
Still. I
'Cause
just
you
like
a
Drake.
freaky ass nigga. You a
Honestly, yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You're
I'm
not
really
lying.
23, but
Sure.
technically.
I really don't know how old she is. I thought
Technically, I'm 27.
she was 25.
Okay, Drake.
I mean, I like him young, but I don't like him young acting. And
That's
she
true.
seemed very mature when I first met her.
When you first met her?
Yeah, she seemed very mature, and I was like, wow. I was like, you look good to be 35. She was like, I'm 25, actually. I was like, all right.
What made you think she was 35? That's a
Beca-
little
because of her-
disrespectful, though.
No, it's because of her personality. She just came off as really mature, really experienced. Like, really professional. Like, I was like, wow, I'm going to have to really step my
I
game
am
up.
professional. There's a time and place for everything.
Okay. So, like, when you walk around the house, you're like, I don't give a piss about nothing but the tide. Like, at 7 in the morning. Is that professional?
Why would I need to be professional at 7 in the morning inside my own home?
Well, what character is on your panties right now?
What?
Like, when is your time?
What do you mean?
You know she actually went to Harvard?
Did you?
No.
No, I was going to say you just said that because of the shirt.
See, you can't tell if he's joking, right? Sometimes you can't
He
tell.
knows me.
I know
But
him.
you
but I-
literally.
the-
All right, let's just get down to it.
No, like I'll ask questions like that. Like, did you really? And he'd be like, no.
Yeah, let's get
And I'm
down-
like, well, you kind of.
The thing with Kyle, you always have to take everything he says with a grain of salt as if it could be a joke because he probably is joking. So
It's
you
never
can't believe
funny,
everything
though.
until you be like, are you serious? And then he'll tell you if he's serious or not.
Do you think I'm funny?
Yeah, I think you're funny. I just think
It's an acquired.
Taste?
Yes.
Actually, you know what though?
Yes.
Like in like small talk and like meeting people for the first time, it's actually funny because they're like, oh, this guy can make a joke. He's so witty. But like when you stay with him for too long, it's like, all right, you gotta cut that joke out.
I'm like Conan O'Brien. It's funny at first, then it's like, all right, this guy's a clown. Like, nobody wants to see you do cartwheels and stuff.
I guess.
But we're working it out.
Who?
I said we. Me and you, we're working it out.
I don't know what's going on here either. What is this right now?
I mean, this is how we are 24/7.
Old married couple?
Do you think it's like an old married couple?
I don't know what it's like. I honestly don't know if this is a thing or not.
Me
It's been a
either.
thing. It's been a thing for years, but she just denies it. I mean, we've been madly in love. Like, literally love at first sight, but it's like, she just denies
He had a
it.
girlfriend when I first met you.
I did. He knows. You think he knows?
And I still shot my shot. And you still gave me your number.
No, I didn't.
You
See,
did.
this how you know when he's not joking.
No, I did not do that.
You literally did.
I didn't give you my number to pursue you. I gave you my number because it's like, all right, well, this is a business arrangement.
Yeah, but like if you're shooting game as a guy,
I didn't know
You're
you were
gonna-
shooting game.
I was gonna say, did he know you were shooting game?
he knew.
Because I can say, for example, I get numbers from people, but I don't know if they're, if you are a part of, essentially your family at this point.
Do you know what the business deal was?
Which actually, that's weird.
Do you know what the business deal was?
Wait.
You want to tell?
I told you, no holds barred. You can say whatever you want, just don't lie.
The business deal was us being roommates
That's
on
a
the
goddamn
cruise.
lie. So, no,
On what cruise?
Remember when we were supposed to get married on a cruise and then
No, I
COVID
didn't know
happened?
that.
Yeah, originally they were supposed to get married on the cruise. Like that was the wedding. And then COVID happened and so the cruise.
And you were with your ex at that time?
Yes.
Now, was he joking when he was talking about getting a room together?
Why would he give me his number if he was joking?
Well, was the joke getting a number not related to the joking about the room part?
I don't know. But my thing is, so he gave me his number in regards to us rooming together on the cruise.
And
That's all I'm going to say.
then how did that conversation go?
Why does it matter?
It does matter because
you think
if
it matters? If he's in a relationship,
what was said?
First
what
of
was
all-
said when you text me? When did you? When did we text and what was said?
that's not the point. We're talking about how I got your number.
Because I never text you until we broke up,
So what?
and then that's when I text her. And I was
I'm only talking about when we first met and how I got your number.
and I gave it a hey big head text. And I was like, so I need someone to bunk with on the cruise. That's exactly what happened. Because initially I was planning on taking my ex on the cruise with me.
That's why I was wondering. I was like, why would he talk to you about being roomies on a cruise if he's with somebody?
She's
But
delusional.
he gave me his. He's not denying. You see, he's not denying.
I gave you my number.
I get the part about giving you a number, but was it with the intent that, hey, we're going to be roommates on a cruise?
Yes. What? I had nothing else to be like, hey, give me your number, and he would have gave it to me.
Yeah, we share a mutual family.
That's what I was about to say. You guys are basically family right now.
No, this is what I will tell you word for word what happened.
Go for it. She's good at this. I'll give her that.
We were at, what was it? Their
Let's meet.
engagement party, the karaoke. You were there.
Was I? Yeah, I
Yes.
was. I was.
And then I was on the mic and I'm like, if anybody still needs a roommate for the cruise, like, let me know. And then Kyra was like, I might, like, take you up on that offer.
Wait, I thought you were joking.
No.
I did too.
You were serious
I
about
was
that?
serious. But okay, that's fair. You thought I was joking. But I came up to him after.
Oh.
And I said, were you serious about, like, being, like, my roommate, whatever? And that's when you gave me your number.
That's not how it happened.
Kyra, I wouldn't make that up.
I'm not saying you made it up. I'm just saying that you okay, so here's my side of the
I
story.
was just saying you misremembered.
Yeah. Here's my side of the story. So she said that all that's true.
Stupid.
When she came to me and pulled me aside, she was like, "So do you have a roommate for the cruise or whatever?" And I was like, "Honestly, it depends on how things go." Because that night when I came out, like me and my ex, we had not gotten into a big fight, but it was kind of like, I don't see where this is going.
I was going to ask you that because during that time was when you guys were getting ready to split. It was getting bad at that point.
and that was like the final start. We ended up breaking up after that.
Okay, but what about the story that I said that wasn't facts?
I never said it wasn't a fact.
Okay, that's what we're arguing
But
about.
you're making it seem
I'm
like I gave you my
confused.
number, like I was cheating on my ex.
No, that's not what I'm making it seem.
Okay, well, all right. Well,
I was just saying.
I said exactly what I said. I might take you up on that offer because I was figuring, well, the cruising is for another 6 months. We're not going to last for another 6 days. So I'm going to be respectful and I'm going to let things in. I'm going to give myself time to heal. And then I'll be able to start a new adventure overseas.
I guess I see it as like, if we're together and you gave another girl, if you did that while we were together, I would be upset.
Even if you were going to break up with me that night?
Well, I mean, that you don't know that though.
Remember the conversation we had about context.
If you were gonna break up with me that night, then okay, that's fair. But you wouldn't know whether or not I was gonna break up with you.
Yeah, I think I'm with her on that one.
No, well, no, it wasn't that she had said that. It was a mutual agreement. It was like we had spoken. It was like, you know what? this isn't gonna work, and I was like, you know what, I'll just leave.
As
And
far
then
as I remember, it was
Okay,
it
but-
was
It was- it
more
was-
it was
it was-
more tumultuous than that, right?
yeah, no, tumultuous.
Okay.
No,
So it was more like consensual, like, hey, let's amicably be.
yeah, we never like had like a big fight or anything. It was just really like it was just we were defeated. It was like we can't make these pieces fit. So it's like that whole night I wanted to go out and support my brother. He was like, and she was like, well, I'm not. My daughter's sick and this and that, and I'm like, well, I'll go by myself, but it would be bad. Like you don't know who could be out there. It could be some lurker waiting for me to be single so she can shoot her shot. And she was like, at this point, it doesn't really matter. If you find something else, then. And I was like, all right. And there was blood in the water. She had on that green dress, high heels.
You did?
Yeah.
Wait, me or
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. She had those box braids. And she
Looking
just
like
knew. She
poison
isolated me
ivy.
from
Oh
everybody.
my god.
Pulled me to the side, make sure I had enough liquor in my body. She was like,
I'm just like, I'll state facts like that, and he like acts like I'm trying to go into a deeper meeting. Like I wasn't.
no, what happened, and I'm glad it happened.
Okay.
It happened for a reason. I'm glad it happened.
Just
And
saying.
look at us now. The rest is history.
I'm just saying.
Look at you now. What is this?
Oh
now?
my God, Michelle. I mean, we've talked. I've talked about it. I've told you.
What
She's
did
just
he
been
tell
kind
you?
I don't honestly don't know. It's like a amalgamation of so many different things. That's why it's almost like I can look at a square and say that's a square. I can look at a circle and say that's a circle. But when you look at some oblong things, like, I don't know what shape that is.
But you know what a diamond looks like, don't you?
Yeah.
All right, so we've been off and on, and I think we've gotten to the age now. We're both getting older, and we're at the age where it's like, hey, I'm single, you're single. There's nothing else out there, you know. we
There's
don't have
nothing
to-
else out there.
I mean, you see what's out there. There's nothing out there.
There's stuff out there.
There isn't.
There's definitely stuff out there for me. I don't know about you.
Well, I'm a 35-year-old man.
Exactly. We're
And-
not in the same. You can't say we're both at the age where we're 8 years apart. Like that.
Well, we
doesn't
are
make
because,
sense.
like, as a man, I have 8 years over you. Like, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay, so how much longer do you think you have until you?
I have a good like 7 years.
So in 7 years, you'll be 30. At 30, you're basically damaged goods.
I'm gonna look the same.
It doesn't matter.
Do
You're
you
still
look
gonna
the
have
same?
a 30-year-old vagina.
Do you look the same that you did as you did
You're
when
so
you were 23?
stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's bring up some pictures. I can send them to you. You got airdrop one? I can see you. I can see you some pictures of her when she was 23.
I look the same.
Okay. We'll do one and post at it.
I look better now than I did when we met. Literally. I do.
Nah, the first day I laid eyes on you, like,
I had different hair, but I look the same.
yeah, but you don't do your hair like you used to. You don't say sweet things to me like you used to.
This is a thing that y'all own again?
yeah, we're
It
going
don't sound like it.
No, I mean, it's just she hates to admit it, but she has the same type of personality as me. Like, I'm a Gemini, and you know what that means.
No, I don't know what that means.
I
Explain.
don't either. But it's like it's like we're perfect for each other, but it's like when two magnets are the same, we're like two positive magnets. We just keep pushing away. But we have the same personality, same sense of humor, same
No.
morals,
No.
goals, values.
No.
We
It's
do.
starting to sound like you want this to be something so bad, and she's like, it's not really
I
anything.
don't. I can
No, I'm not gonna make it seem like I'm like. I don't want to act like, cause you know I'm like honestly obsessed with him, but he needs a lot of work.
Okay, so answer this then. Is there one thing or multiple things that make this not be like a solidified relationship?
Multiple.
So name one of the biggest ones.
What do you mean, a solidified relationship?
Like to where you can say, this is my girlfriend, this is my boyfriend, we're together.
No, bitch, we go together. You are my girlfriend. I just bought her like a lot of stuff this morning. Like, we went out and everything. Like, we go together. I don't know what you think this is.
Okay, let's word it differently.
We go together.
I wouldn't say like there's just like I don't know.
What?
There's some We do go together. I'll say we do go together. But is it going to last? This is like what?
That's out of our hands. It's God's
Is
plan.
it?
It is. It's God's plan.
Actually, it's Daylight's plan, but keep going.
Don't you think though that like it's up to us?
I mean, listen. I was always taught. My daddy taught me. It's not about it, you can only control what you put in,
exactly,
not what you get out. So as long as we're putting in love, friendship, we have good times, laughter, quality time, like all these things that we put into our relationship. Whatever comes out is what we deserve, and I'm happy with what's coming out so far. See, your problem is you just get so anxious about the future. And you're talking about, oh, what if our kids have really close eyes? That's not my fault. That's what you put it to.
As soon as you looked at me, I thought that.
That's what you put it to.
People are going to really think that I say this. Like, it's not. You just say anything that comes to your head, and it's not true. It's not even funny.
I thought it was fun.
See, whenever we're together, like just us, she's like, you're so stupid and you're not funny and no one laughs at you and everything you say is wrong. But when I'm around like-minded men, they agree with me. I'm funny and what I say is right.
Okay.
And we can do your podcast around all your girls. And then they'll probably be like,
You
oh, you're
crying?
stupid and misogynistic.
You have a podcast?
No.
But seriously though, what is like? He just made a joke about you being anxious and eyes close together and stuff like that.
I
But
thought you were going to say close eyes. But
are you Asian?
Yeah.
A little bit. Which one?
Japanese.
Really? How much?
14%.
I can see it.
Thanks.
Can you? Never mind.
what I tell you, when we're in public, you tell everybody you're black.
Why?
Because
The funny thing-
I say too much stuff about dating black women. You have to make sure that you tell people.
What's
that you're
14% of Asian going to do?
black.
Okay.
Back to my original question. What's one of those glaring things? Like I said, he just made a joke about like you being anxious about the future and stuff, which is why.
No, that wasn't a joke. I mean, she really is like.
I know, but like seriously, what is the thing that makes you anxious about the future?
I feel bad saying this on here.
Go for it. I'm telling you.
For one, I really feel bad for. Okay, for one, he lives with his mom.
That was a bad thing.
I feel like that's mean, but it's true.
It is.
What's
Go,
wrong
keep
with
going. Yeah.
What's wrong with that? What's the biggest problem with that? What would you say is the biggest problem about him living with his mom?
There's just. I mean, you're 35 and you live with your mom. The problem with that is I think he's okay with it. Like he's comfortable living with his mom. He doesn't see a problem with it. And like, what are we supposed to do? Like live? Am I gonna live with you and your mom? Like,
No, we got a house together.
So, do you think that him living with his mom equates you guys living together in his mom's house?
no,
do you
but
not-
it's like I don't even feel. It's weird. Like if we want to hang out together, if we want to spend like alone time together, we can't. Where are we gonna do it at? Like.
No,
you're
I agree with
with
you
your
there.
mom.
No, yeah, I agree with you there.
Like, I just.
Because we're past the dating part. We're to the point where we should spend quality time with each other, and that's also why we should be, looking for a place. But this is what I mean. Like you get ahead of yourself. It's like you jump right into it. It's like, all right, time to go to phase 2. It's like, but you can't just jump into the phase without.
No, but I've been telling him this was an issue for me for the past 3 years.
Okay.
And y'all been together for the past 3 years?
No.
We've been on and off for 3 years.
Right. So why would I commit to something that I don't think is gonna last, or that I know can end? Like if you say you need to get your own house, and it's like we're not together, we're not married. Like why am I going out to make this sacrifice?
But it's not even for us. I just felt like as an adult man, you
Keep
should
going.
like.
That's how you
want
feel
your
as an
own
adult man.
place.
How long have you been an adult man?
How can you date? But how
long have you been
expect
an
to
adult
date
man?
Somebody and live with your mom.
I had sex last night in my mom's house, so I'm fine. I'm completely fine with it. Works out for me.
Oh God.
I mean, do you understand where you're hitting a brick wall?
No.
How? And I'm not even trying to be like combative, but it's like, do you understand how I had a whole relationship living with my mom? If that past relationship was like, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to get into another house, I want to live together, then I would say, all right, let's do it.
Well, let me say this. I've dated men that have their own place.
Mm-hmm.
And when I compare the two, I would, if I had to choose, I would choose someone who had their own place.
Facts. Except for the fact that you didn't. You see how that works?
I was gonna say, why?
not-
What was the thing about them that made you say that you would choose them?
Because there's things that come with living on your own.
I get that, but you literally just said if I had to choose between the guy that lived by himself or the guy that lived with his mom, I would choose the guy that lives by himself, but you chose the guy that lives with his mom.
But there's other things that go into
Cognitive dissonance. Well, let's talk about things that go into other things, because I want to hear your reason and why. We know what the reason is.
What's the reason?
I mean, the only thing that you can enjoy living with someone on their own is sex.
Not really.
Then what else could it be?
Like, are you financially stable enough to live by yourself?
Yes.
Okay, but how am I supposed to know that? If I see, like, from the outside looking in, if you live with your mom.
Okay, that's a good point.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's other things, like.
That's a good point. I mean, and that's a conversation that we can have, but you can't just assume that because someone's living with their mother. Like, I'll tell you, and we've already had this conversation, but the reason I live with my mother is because there's no need for me to go out and get a mortgage when I don't want to live by myself. I would be sad and I would be lonely. I don't want to live by myself. And why am I going to be paying a mortgage when I can do everything that I want to do now? And it's not like my mom is like, go wash the dishes and dump out the trash.
She literally just said that before he left. On God.
She did. but she doesn't bother me. Like when I come home from work, she's probably at work. Or when I get home, I go in my room and that's fine. I got 2 places, and I'm also helping her. I'm putting into, I don't just mooch off of her.
Okay, but let's not act like you don't complain about living with her.
I do.
So that's my thing. Don't complain to me about you living with your mom.
I don't complain that much. I don't complain that much. But I do say I wish that I could be with someone and go ahead and get this thing started and start a family and get past this chapter in my life. But I'm not going to force it.
You're not gonna force like moving out. Like I don't understand.
David, can I ask you
I'm
a
not
question?
gonna force moving out on my own. I have friends that have moved out on their own, and guess what they did? They end up having their mom live with them. They end up going back living with their mom, or they end up having some woman in their house. It's just I see this already.
And I mean I see the opposite.
Interesting.
Let me ask you a question, and we're going to go to break really quick. But do you have a job?
Mm-hmm.
Do you live on your
Do I have
own?
a job? No, I don't live on my own.
You live with like roommates or family or something?
Mm-hmm.
So do you agree that when you live out on your own, that there's more finances that's leaving your bank account than you get to
Absolutely.
save?
Yeah, obviously.
If you had a kid and that kid said, Mom, I would like to stay with you and basically stack my money up until I find somebody and move out, would you be okay with that? Or
100%.
So do you think that what Cairo is doing is the same thing, or you think that's different?
I think it's different because he's 35 years old.
So you think there's a time
And
limit?
the only reason I am in the position I am because I moved from New York by myself here. I barely, like, the only family I have here is the family that I'm staying with. If I was to move out in New York with my family, I would have been able to live by myself easily.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Like, I'm not.
Do you know people who live with their parents who don't pay any bills and make a bunch of babies and just sit there and just mooch off their family all the time?
I don't personally. I mean, I know they're out there, but I don't personally know anyone like that, no.
Do you see a difference in a person that does something like that and a person who stays with their family, who's a good son, who, cuts the grass, pays bills, fixes things around the house?
Obviously, yes. I'm not.
So is it just like a stigma? Because it's only like that in the black community. I know you don't know, but
No. So my thing, no, that's not even it.
because most Asian households,
Well, more than just in
No.
Asian households, I know like
Every
even,
household
even like
except for black people.
Even Muslims and white people. It's like
it's
what
every
happens-
household except for
you
the black
have-
community.
You have a family unit, right? Maybe they have like 3, 4, 5 kids. Those kids stay with them until they go off to college or they go and get married or something. And then when they do that, those kids go off and then they do the same thing with their kids, and then their parents come and live with them because those kids didn't leave the household until they were prepared and ready to go off and be married or something like that and start finances with someone else together.
It's called mbuke. What's passed down is passed forward.
This is all I'm saying. I feel like it's your age, I think, more than anything.
Okay, but if I never had got married and never had children, I would probably stay with my mom until I have to take care of her, because that's what will end up happening anyways. I know that it's the stigma that you're upset about.
Do you? How close are you with your parents?
Very close.
Do you like
And like I left on my mom would have let me stay there forever, but
would you, if something happened to your mom where she was like disabled or something, would you let her live with you?
Of course.
Like
She's married. Her mother's married.
But like if dad wasn't there and
Yeah.
Of course.
Is that a problem if like
But there's a difference of your parents living with you and you living with your
Yeah,
parents.
I get what you're saying there. I'm just curious about the whole like after that scenario. Like cuz for example, Cairo's living with his mom right now. But if they split apart, then she have to pay more, he would have to pay more, and then eventually she's going to have to either go into a nursing home or live with him, and those finances that they were spending extra could have been towards going to the nursing home or
going towards the equity in that house.
Yeah.
Which will be passed down to you and I and our child.
Which he could sell it or
even, like your mom's house is in her name and she's not going to put your name on it.
That's a problem.
Exactly. That's why I don't like.
But
you're putting.
That's something that I'm trying. That's something that
you can't change. That like you can't change somebody else's mind. It's her house. You can't force her to put your name on it. And you're putting all this money into the house. You've already asked her to put your name on it, and she said no. So why wouldn't you like? You have to find another option.
That's true.
I agree with you on that.
I do too.
Like I'm not. So my thing is, if you couldn't afford, like I don't care if you didn't make enough money and you had to live with your mom, I wouldn't say anything. But it's the fact that you can afford to move out and you just don't want to because you're comfortable with the lifestyle that you have.
But you're saying that wrong, though. Go ahead.
What did I say wrong?
When you say I don't want to because I'm comfortable, it's different from me saying I don't have to. When you say I don't want to, it makes it seem like I want to live with my mom and I want to live like that. It's just that I don't have to. I don't have any children. I don't have a wife. So it's like, why do I have to move out and pay a mortgage? Why do I have to?
You don't have to.
So why would I? What benefit would I get from that?
I don't get why you would want to live. You live in the house.
It's not that you're saying it again. I don't want to. It's just that why wouldn't I? What benefit would I get living on my own?
There's so many.
There's
so many.
The name one.
I just like the only downfall of it.
Name the only benefit that I get living on my own.
The only downfall of living on your own is paying more money.
Yeah, it's a whole lot more responsibility.
It's like, why don't you get an apartment?
That's even worse. Then at least if I get a house, at least I can get the equity in it, and I can sell the house. If I get an apartment, I'm just renting. I can rent from my mom.
I'm not gonna lie, that's what I'm doing right now, and I hate it. I wish I had bought a house because all the money that I could be putting into equity right now is going straight to super high rent right now.
I don't see the fad in everyone wanting a house. Like, especially right now, like, it's so not worth it.
It's not. It's more than just fads and stigmas. Like, this is grown-up
I think it
talk.
is.
It's not. It's about equity. It's a business now.
The same thing with owning a house, though, comes with more responsibility compared to
it does,
renting.
but you can sell the house. Like when you like.
And you can find a new apartment.
Yeah, but that's not the same though. It's like
those aren't
it's
the
like
same
with our
things.
friends. It's like we have friends that rent cars, and they've been renting cars, overpaying for cars for 10, 20 years. It's like you could have bought 5 cars. Well, I don't need 5 cars. Well, you could sell those cars for money. Like my car, if anything happens to my car, like I don't pay anything for my car. I can sell my car and buy a new car if I wanted to, but I don't have to.
I get that. I have my real estate license, so I understand.
Congratulations. She has her...
everything that you're talking about, I get it. I'm saying as a single woman, I guess it's not the same as you, but I would not buy a house. I don't care how financially...
So you would buy apartments until like the day you die?
No, not until... If I had a husband, then I would get a house.
See, men can't do that. We can't say, well, if I get a wife, then you can get a house. It's not the same. If we moved in together and I asked you to pay the bills and I stay at home, you would feel some kind of way about that.
If you what?
If we got a house together and I decided that you had to pay all the bills, you would feel some kind of way about that, right?
Yeah. I mean,
If it was the other way around, I really the only care I would have is like, but why won't you work though? Like if we had a kid and you didn't want to work, then that's fine. I
Okay.
wouldn't say anything about it,
Okay.
even if you made more than me. But if it was the other way around, it would be an issue, and that's fine. I agree with you.
We've talked about this though.
I know, but we haven't said it on camera.
Oh, okay. I'm not saying that how you feel doesn't make sense. I'm saying I don't like it and I don't agree with it.
I can accept that. I can respect that. If there's gonna be a lot of things that I do out of necessity that you're not gonna like, but you're gonna have to
But you
accept
don't
it.
need to. You just said you don't need to. You don't need to stay with her, but you feel like you don't need to leave. So it's like, what's the difference?
No, I am gonna leave. We're gonna get a place together because that's what I'm supposed to do. I made this analogy earlier. She hated it. The car that you know me personally. All the cars that I've driven are 2-seaters because that's all I need, and I'm okay with that. That would be like a girl with a child coming to date me and saying, "Are you just gonna be okay with this 2-seater for the rest of your life?" It's like, no, I can get a van if you want me to, but I just don't need to right now. Like, why would I go out and buy a car with 4? Why would I go get an SUV when it's just me right now?
I did not hate that analogy. It's because I asked him if he thought he made enough money right now to support like a wife and kids. And he said no. And I'm like, then so he felt like he shouldn't be like climbing the ladder in the corporate ladder or whatever your job is simply because right now he's a single man. I'm like, do you not have the desire to be married in the future? Like, don't you think you should set that up right now, even if it's not happening right now? Like you said, it's not like you can go to your boss tomorrow and be like, hey, I want a promotion. He's just going to promote you. Like, you should have started that. Like, you're 35 now. Don't you think you should, like, this whole time you've just been staying stagnant because you didn't have a reason to, but you weren't working towards anything that you knew you would want in the future? And then that's when he brought up the analogy about the car. I'm like, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, I get that because I do see the world differently than Cairo does in that regard because I've always been like family oriented, and so like even when I got a car, I'm like I'm always gonna get something with at least 5 seats in it because even when I go back home to North Carolina, I'm gonna see my boys and I want to drive around and have them in the back seat when we go play basketball or something like that. Or I have a son, let me put him in the back seat. Even before I even had a son, I wanted something that was more mobile to fit more people. And then I was like, I want to eventually. I used to not want a house, but that's because I didn't know anything about finances. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm just gonna get apartments because I'm gonna move here, move there, move there. Now I'm at a place I was like, dang, I should have bought a house like 10 years ago.
Yeah, if the market was down, my mindset would be different. But right now, the market is crazy. That's the only reason I feel that way right now. But
I just, I think you have a point about like preparing for your future, like preparing to be married, preparing to have kids, making sure you're in a financial space, making sure you're in a mental space and all the other stuff to be married and have kids, because ultimately, at least usually, that's what we're looking towards.
Right. And it's like, if I'm coming in looking at you now, I'm looking at you like, what kind of husband are you going to be? And this is what you're showing me, like you haven't expressed any desire to like want to make more money or any desire to, anything like that. So that's why I'm asking you these questions. And I just feel like your answers and your excuses to why that didn't happen just don't. Like, I told him, like, I want to make more money right now because if I have kids, I want to be able to stay home. So I'm saving up not to have money to spend, but to be able to have that in my savings so that I don't have to work when I have kids. I don't have kids right now, obviously, but it's like.
My only pushback on that is, like, in that case, you have to make sure and maybe this is what you're doing, I don't know. Make sure you're with someone who's on the same page with that. Right, because maybe there is a guy who's like, I want to make sure I work and make enough to where my wife doesn't have to go to work. My kids can be homeschooled or whatever, right? But if you're with a guy who's like, that's not really how I see life. I think we should both get jobs and work like that. Then that's different.
But no, that's my way of doing it. It's like it can go either way. Because if I'm saving up money, I don't have to rely on you. So even if you're like, no, I don't want you to stay home, it's like, I'm not asking you to fund it. Like, I saved up money for this. If I hadn't saved up money, then it's like, okay, are you okay with me staying home and you picking up more bills? But if I'm already saving this and I have it here and I'm still paying my share of the bills like you want me to, you can't tell me not to go to work. What's the problem? Like, I'm paying my bills.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you guys got to look at each other and think, like, how you want to live the rest of your life and how I want to live the rest of my life. Are we on the same page with that?
Yeah, everything she said makes sense. I agree with it. And it's like I said, we share a lot of the same values. I think the miscommunication is she's looking at my actions, which is totally valid.
What am I supposed to look at?
Exactly, yeah. She's looking at my actions. And when I tell her, when I like give the reason that I just gave her, it's like, that's not good enough for me. Which I completely understand. And that's what we're
only
working
because on. It's just like...
Because men lie.
Now I have to just trust that you're going
Right.
to just change, even if you've been this way this whole time.
I get it.
That is a
I
good
get it.
point because, Kyra, me and you have had these conversations before where I would say, like, you're lazy or something like that. Or you, not even that you're lazy, it's just kind of like what you're saying. You're comfortable.
He's very stuck in his ways, and I get it.
Spot. And sometimes that comfortability can... I think we even had a conversation on the podcast one time about your job.
Yeah.
And you're like, I've been in this job for 10 years or whatever, 11 years or something. And I was like, why don't you just go do something else? I can't because blah, blah, blah. I was like, you can. You're just comfortable doing what you're doing. And I do think sometimes your comfortability can stop you from... I personally have dealt with that. I've had jobs where I had it like longer than I expected it to. And I realized I was too comfortable in that spot. But I was starting to hate that I couldn't get to where I wanted to do, like doing video stuff. And after job after job after job, staying there way too long, getting comfortable, and still not being in the film industry like I wanted to be, I finally gave up on that, quit my job, and went working part-time doing film. And it was uncomfortable, but it made me grow in the last, 3 years. And now I'm at where I'm at now. I'm like basically full-time freelancer. But it took like a huge effort to be uncomfortable to even grow. And so sometimes your comfortability can stop you from growing.
And that's how I feel like... That's why I have a problem with him staying with his mom, because I don't think any of those... I don't think he really cares about... Like he just said, he can afford to. And yeah, maybe it's going to make you cut back on certain things, but I think it's more... It comes down to you just being comfortable. And that is what doesn't sit... Because you can't grow. If you're comfortable too long, there's no way you can grow. Like, you have to take risks. I'm not asking you to take stupid risks, but you have to take risks. That's how you get the biggest reward.
I agree.
I don't feel like I'm like I feel like you think I'm being like unreasonable.
I don't. I really don't. I think that we're both saying two different things, and I think that both things can be right. And I think that because what I'm saying you don't like, you invalidate it. That's all I'm saying.
I think everything you're saying makes sense. Like, you're not saying anything that's like wrong.
So do you understand what he says when he says, you know, I'm being lazy or I'm being like content?
Yeah.
It isn't just me saying, oh, I'm good here, I like it. It's, these are my options. I can make more money, but I'm gonna have to work more hours and work harder.
Yeah, we talked about this.
And it's like, and what do I get from that? I get more money. And then what? Do I need more money? No.
Why not, if you're trying to move out of your mom's house?
Again, so get that moving out your mom's house out the way, because
if you want a family,
you can't count that because that wasn't on my mind. He's family oriented.
To be fair,
he was thinking about this.
He never even, at least the conversations we've had, I don't know if it's changed or not, but he was like, I don't think I'm going to have kids and all that stuff like that. So
not that I didn't want to. I was just trying to, look at it realistically, like, at my age, what I've been doing. And you said yourself, like, how are you even going to meet anyone? So it's like, maybe I can keep going on this road, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't need anything else.
And when he was in his last relationship, I think you helped out with the apartment she was staying in.
I did.
And he did. She had a kid.
Enough that I'm ashamed to talk about.
He helped out with the kid. He was there for the kid more so than the dad was, honestly. And he did buy a different car because he knew that she had a kid, and it was like an SUV because he knew that he wanted to be able to transport the kid and the mom around and stuff. So I think the thing is, like, Cairo does get comfortable. until you make him uncomfortable to force him to do something different. So maybe like getting into a relationship would make him change, because I think he's capable of making those uncomfortable decisions because he needs to. But I don't think he's gonna just go out of his way and do those things without being
which
like,
is how most men
encouraged to do so.
are, and which is how it normally is.
I don't. That's why I don't like.
But
that's
but
why
that's
I don't
but,
like.
but
and
that's how a
to
lot
her
of men
point
are,
too, though, is like,
I shouldn't have to ask you.
as a woman who's a single woman in this world looking for a man to spend the rest of her life with, I don't see what your potential is. I need you to show me. I can't just look at you and what you're doing right now and be like, oh yeah, he's going to be a good man. I need you to show me that you're going to be a good man. So she wasn't there. I mean, she didn't see what all you did with that last relationship and how you can change. But looking at your life now, it's like, all right, he's just stagnant. Like, he's just sitting here like stale water, and it's not looking too good. And so maybe she does need to see you do a little bit of something to show that, okay, when he gets in a relationship with me, then we can make a difference.
And that's fair. And also, and you know, we talked about this, but it's when you're in a relationship and you're doing all those things, and you're making those changes, you're making those sacrifices, and you feel uncomfortable, to have it end and then you lose all of that, it's like, man, was that worth it? So here we go again with these decisions. I have to do all of this, and I did it before, and it wasn't worth it. So I might as well just sit right here in this comfortable position. And I know that's not fair to you, but I'm just saying that's my mindset.
If I asked you, like, you were paying for her apartment, you were doing whatever. If I'm asking you to get your own house and to get more money at your
You're
job,
not asking me to get my own house. You're asking me to get a house with you.
No, I wasn't. I really was. I actually don't even believe in living with someone until you're engaged. I was making an exception for you. Anyways.
Thank you.
I'm asking you, this is 3 years ago when I was asking you this when we first started dating. And I was like, you need to get your own place. And, you know, if you can't afford it, then you can work your way up at your job. How, if I left you, how is that going to bite you in the ass?
How would it not?
How is making more money and having your own place and being a single man?
Now, let's say I would have done that. Right? Fresh out of the last relationship when I did all that and it didn't work out. Now, let's say I
didn't do that. You were paying for her apartment. You see the difference of what I'm saying? If you have something in your name.
Well, that, okay. All right, okay.
How was that going to
My plan was to our plan was to get a house together, but she didn't want to do that. Because she felt comfortable.
That's not what you were doing. You were paying for
fair enough.
a lease that was under her name.
Fair enough. I was.
And you're doing the same thing now because you're paying your mom's mortgage and it's under her name.
Okay.
So how is me telling you need to get your own shit and, you know, you should work towards getting more money? And if I left you, I'm leaving you, which you own your own house and you're making more money. How is that?
I would have sold the house and went back with my mom.
But that wouldn't you wouldn't have to do that. Why would you have to do that?
I wouldn't have to. I'm just saying that's what I would have done. Because eventually I would have woke up, looked beside me in my bed and seen that it was empty. I would have been lonely.
But you sold the house. Like, it's not like it was gonna put you down financially.
No. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like, basically you're saying I had nothing to lose.
You didn't. It was only gonna help you.
Okay, I still would have been in that position at that job that I hated, working hours that I hated.
Okay, you could have went back. You could have sold the house like you said and you went back. But that wasn't going to... What was that going to do?
Okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense.
I don't really have any pushback to it.
I don't know.
You won. That's a good thing. You did good.
I don't want to win. Like, that's not the point.
No, I mean, you made a good point. You're doing great. You made a good point, and we both agree with you.
I think for her, though, she doesn't want to just make a good point.
No,
I think she wants it to happen, though.
Okay, stop.
No. I said this to him already, Contrell. I've said this to him 3 years ago.
But what you're saying is we still would have been arguing. Like, I'm not argumentative. And he knows that. So you're sitting here like you're saying that we still would have been arguing. We wouldn't have.
Well,
I would have agreed
maybe we
with
wouldn't have been arguing.
way.
You would have acted like you don't understand.
No, I wouldn't have. I would have said the same exact thing I just said. I would have said that actually makes sense.
Because that's not what you said 3 years ago when I said that. You said what you just said, and then I come back with.
When you said that 3 years ago, it makes sense now. It makes sense then. The difference was, I don't look at you the same. I don't hold you to the same like caliber as I did.
Okay, I get that.
Like I take you more serious. So when you say something, it's like I take your feelings into consideration, and then I look at I see you in my future. So things are different now. Where at first it's like you're saying all this stuff, and I'm just thinking, I'm about to go home and play the game. Like, what are you talking about?
But when I was saying, I say stuff to you to try to better you as a man, not as like us as together. I don't like when I say stuff.
You can't better me as a man if you aren't my wife. If you aren't like looking towards me as a husband, you can't better me.
But that's
as a
obviously
man.
why I'm trying to better you as a man, so you'll be a better.
Well,
husband.
if we're talking for the first 3 months,
But
that's
what
not
I'm
gonna
saying
better
is
me
the
as a
stuff
man.
I'm trying to instill with you is gonna be good for you whether it's with me or not.
That's the thing, though. It doesn't. The first 3 months that we're talking, the first 3 weeks, the first 3 days is different from 3 years and 3 decades. As us being together for 3 years, if we're married for 3 years, and you're telling me these things that make me better, I'm taking it into better consideration, and it does make me better because it's what you want, and it's what I want to be. But if you tell me something after we've been talking for 3 weeks, I don't give a shit what you're saying. Because you think it's making me better, but I know it makes me better. You can't make me better because I'm already happy.
That's not what I was saying.
Yeah, it is. See
It's
now,
not.
now you're
just saying that
listen to
you're
me.
just saying
All
that
right,
you wouldn't
hear me
have
out.
held it like you wouldn't have cared as much because we didn't know each
Well, let me
other
ju-
that
but let
long.
me
But that doesn't change what I would have said to
Let
you.
me cook. If you tell me something in the first 3 weeks that we're talking, it doesn't mean anything
You
because
just said that. I understand that.
okay,
Get
so
to the point.
So now that we're serious and we're intentional and we've gone through this and we see what we need to do to change both of us together as a unit, because now I'm looking at it as a unit. So when you told me you need to do this to be better, I do because I want to be better so that I can be better for you, I can be better for myself and everyone around me.
But
because you're a part of it.
That's literally not what I was saying.
Explain your point again.
All I said, I said that what I tell you is stuff to better you as a man, and all you're saying is that you don't care. If I would have said whatever I'm saying to you doesn't matter because it was like I only know you for 3 weeks.
Yeah, because you told me the same thing,
But
but
that's
at
not what
that
I'm
time
saying,
it wouldn't have made me better.
Okay, but what does that have to do with what I just said?
Because now that you're saying it now, it would make me better. But back then, it wouldn't have made me better because I was going to be happy as soon as I got off the phone with you. Now, after we have these conversations, I get off the phone, I think, she's right. This is the man that I need to be. I don't think that's the man that I should have been because if I go back in a time machine 3 years ago, that guy would tell me, the hell are you talking about? Like, let's get on the game. We're happy. We're good right here. We have your dream car. We're living the dream life. Your job is good. Life is good. We're balling. Let's ball. Now, if he came to the future and was like, oh, man, just do this, do that. I'm like, no, because I want to be a better man for Diamond. He's going to say, who the hell is Diamond? Then I'll have to explain all that.
That's still like not what I was saying, but it's pointless. We're just going around in a
It's
circle.
not pointless. And we're not going in
going around
circles.
in
We're going
circles.
forward.
Gay.
See? You expose yourself. When it comes on the actual conversation and you know that I'm right and you agree with me, that's the
No,
first thing you say.
Wait, I want to hear what
"Gay."
she was trying. I want to see.
This is what I said. This
explain
is all
yourself.
That was her
This is
rebuttal.
all
right?
I said to him. I said the things that I'm telling you is not things that I'm saying. Like, okay, this is what we need to do so we can be together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I think you should do this. Like, as a man, like that's like me trying to give you advice about like investing in something.
If you're an investor,
Like-
if you are an investor,
Okay, let's not talk about investing. I'm giving
no.
you an analogy.
I'm using your analogy. If you're a doctor and you're telling me how to better my health, I'm going to listen to you.
I understand that.
But if you're just one of my friends, you're telling me not to smoke. It's like, no, I'm good. I'm going to smoke because I like it right now. And who do I not have to smoke for? Nobody.
Okay.
If your husband gets cancer from smoking and you say, babe, you need to stop smoking, he's going to stop smoking because that's going to be better for you, for the child, for him, and he wants to do that for you. But when somebody doesn't care, they're not going to stop habits for you.
So I guess for her, it's like maybe not the first 3 weeks, maybe not the first 3 months, but for the last 2 years, have you not wanted?
If we had been together the whole time, things would have already changed. We would have been together. We probably would have had our first kid. We would have been married already. But we weren't. We weren't stable. We weren't together. We were back and forth. And you know that.
And Diamond, you attribute that to him not progressing in all these things that you're talking about.
Yes.
So it's kind of like you guys are running to a dead end because she wants something out
It's
of
a
you.
conundrum.
Yeah, she wants you to do something about your life, and you're saying, "Well, I don't know if I want to do something about my life because we're not stable."
We
And
have
so, like you said, it's
But
kind of like
that's
you're going.
not-
We have a
I
rat
just don't
infestation,
understand
and
what's
she
so
wants
wrong
to.
about making your life better. If like you don't think you deserve to have a better life just because you're going to be single in it.
I do.
My life-
I mean, to
but
be
I
fair,
didn't-
the thing is, like, for some people, and this is the thing me and Kyra had conversations about. Aspirations are different for different people. I want to make movies one day. And that's not that you can't do that by sitting at home with a full-time job just working.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I jumped out the window, quit my job and everything to do what I'm doing now. And I still don't know if I'll ever get there, but that's my aspiration. Carl doesn't have those kind of aspirations, so he's fine where he's at. As long as he's not broke and all the other stuff, like he's fine where he's at. So maybe your aspirations are greater than his, and you want those to be elevated for you guys to be together. And he's like, I don't need to do that. I'm comfortable where I'm at. And to your point, if he's gonna be a good husband and be a good father and everything, he needs to grow those aspirations. But to him, before he met you, he never saw a reason to ever do that.
Thank you. That's literally what we're saying.
My thoughts process is, I think it's a red flag for a man to like. For if I'm looking for a husband and someone to start a family with, why would I pick someone who never even wanted to do that in the first place?
It's not that I never wanted to. It's just that, first of all, at my age, realistically, I was thinking that it wasn't going to happen, that it couldn't happen. And I sort of gave up on that.
But you never even tried.
I did try.
How?
Remember the conversation we just had? I tried, and it didn't work.
Yeah, but that was dumb.
I mean, that doesn't motivate you. But at the time, it seemed like a good idea. If I knew then what I know now, it wouldn't have happened.
I'll say this: when I had my relationship,
We all have the. Go ahead.
my relationship from 13
Testimony.
years ago, I thought I was gonna be single for the rest of my life. Now I'm talking to somebody else, and things are looking different.
She hasn't made any major mistakes.
That's not true.
You don't have any kids. Most women don't realize the mistakes that they've made until they've had a kid. That's a permanent mistake. You haven't made any permanent mistakes. You made little hiccups, trips, and falls, but you get over those. Moving out was a great thing for you, and I'm glad you did it. Like, we wouldn't be here right now if you didn't do that. And I don't think I would have had the balls to do it. And I still don't like, why did you move? Why did you make that move? That was such a huge.
I was gonna ask the same thing.
I just wanted to.
See, again, that's the aspiration part. Like, you wanted to go see the world and do different things.
If I see something that I want to do, I don't think like, that's not really, like, he'll be like, that's not realistic. But it's like, you can make anything a reality. There's nothing stopping you.
Well, the reason
Is it going to be easy? No.
Right.
Probably not going to go as you planned in your head. This didn't go as, moving here was completely different than what I expected. But I don't regret doing it. And I'm like, it's whatever. I didn't die. Like,
cool. Now, see, I wouldn't have done that because I would measure my steps and I'd be like, well, this could happen. And I wouldn't want to be in the situation that you're in. You know, no offense. I wouldn't want to be in that situation because I would be uncomfortable and I wouldn't get anything out of it. I would just be mad at myself.
We're in the same, like, I don't.
We're not. Carl didn't even like when I moved to Maryland because he's like, well, the whole group is falling apart.
Exactly.
He just doesn't like things that.
And you say that we're in the same spot. I love where I'm at. I mean, I may have complained to you or said this or said that, but the truth is, I love my mom, and she's nice to me, and I like living there.
Gives me the ick.
It's fine.
Ick.
It's fine. I like living there. I have my freedom.
See, he says stuff like that. Like, it's unattractive.
This is the guy who plays the same video game every single day, but complains about it all the time. I'm like, get another game. He's like, what else am I going to play? There are a billion different games that are outside of this one game, but he still plays the game because he likes the game, but he complains about it. So it's like
now, if all my friends stopped playing that game, and they started playing something else. Guess what? I would stop playing that game and I would play what they play.
And I'm not saying he's right for being this kind of person because I complain to him about this the way he is. But I think you too should understand who you're getting into a relationship with is a guy who will live a certain kind of life, be comfortable with it, even though he may complain about it. But he does like that comfortability. And if you force him to change, he will change, but he may still be comfortable in that change.
And it doesn't take a lot it's not like you have to like pull tooth and nail. Like Sometimes it just takes the right person to motivate me or the right situation. And I'm telling you right here that you are.
Diamond, me and you, we have like aspirations. They go like this. We want to keep growing constantly. Cairo's like this until you make him do it. Then he does this, and then you gotta make him do it again. And maybe he'll get to the level you're at, but he's not going to soar like me and you or other people do.
Thanks.
I'm just saying. I'm just calling out the way that it is, and I'm not trying to like say you guys are great together or you're bad for each other. I want you to realistically.
What do you actually think, though? Do you think we're good together? Or bad?
I don't know, because I think realistically you have to look at who you're with and say the way that we are, can we work together and be good together?
Do you think that? You probably have more experience in dating than me.
Because
I definitely do.
I have this problem with the world that we live in now, is that people value the emotional connection and sexual attraction over like compatibility and what works. Because what happens is those emotions start to fade, the sexual attraction starts to fade, and it all starts to turn into resentment. And that's when people break apart. And I think that when you look at someone and say, oh, I like this person, I'm infatuated with them, I'm sexually attracted to them, I like the way they make me feel, you have to look past all of that and say, do we work together in the long run? And if you don't work together in the long run, I don't think you should pursue it.
It's like,
How do you feel?
it's been nice knowing you, buddy.
I think we share a lot of the same values. The core values, I think we can build on the foundation. I think we have a very strong foundation. You're worried about the building tumbling when it gets up, but that happens to everyone.
What?
I think I'm a little too advanced for her, too. Because I'm 8 years older than her.
What does that mean?
It's like, I'll be telling her stuff, she's like, oh my God, did you know that the yellow tubby is like, it's like, we have the same foundations. We're both family oriented. We're both bonded by family. And she seems to
You just
really
you just
like
say
me.
you didn't even want a family.
I never said that. I never said that. I do want a family. I never said I did.
He just didn't think that it was in his cards.
Exactly. But you
it's just
played
like-
the hand that you dealt.
I feel like you give up easily.
I agree
even
with that.
Like
I always tell him
even
that.
so, every time that we've ever broken up, I'll just like not text him for a week and see what happens.
And he's like, oh, we broke up.
I swear to God. And I was like, Cairo, if you would have just texted me, I would have replied. But I just was like, he did, like, if I was to walk out, like, he'd just be like, okay, wow, like, I tried. What did you
And he'll
try?
probably justify, be like, well, she walked out. That means she didn't want to
Yeah,
be
like, what? I don't understand. Just saying. Like, you give up too easily, and then that's why, like, I think about these things when you're like, I just didn't think it was going to happen for me, so now I'm just giving up. I'm just going to live with my mom forever, and just, it's like, why don't you just, if you want something to happen, it'll happen. Like, why don't,
That's the aspiration part. It's like,
I don't-
What do you think I want to happen?
if you wanted a family, then you could have tried.
I did try.
More than once, Cairo.
I even went to the ready-made family. It was already right there for me, and I did that.
You want things to be easy. That's not.
It's wired into us. We want things to be easy. We want
But
to take the
smart
easiest route.
people know that you have to work for things that you want.
She thinks that Southern people are stupid.
I don't agree with that. I'm super Southern. More Southern than he is.
She thinks that we have an inferior education system.
Statistically speaking, you do. Like,
Say it again.
statistically.
Where are you from again?
I'm just saying, New York is like up there.
Like, we've been in New York. There's stupid people there too.
I didn't say that there wasn't.
There's a lot. There's a lot of smart people down
There's
here.
stupid people everywhere, and there's smart people
I think
everywhere.
I think you take our accents and you think that we're stupid. Because
No,
I think the thing
I
is,
just think
like-
he's stupid, and I think he's the spokesperson for North Carolina.
Oh, he's not. Believe me, he's not. But I will say this, like,
I'm
you
not
do.
even from North Carolina.
I told Kyra this. I don't think you even believe me. But there are a lot of, like, people who live out in the country or rural areas. And because they're smart, they take that talent and genius that they have, like, genius stuff that they have, and they go to the big cities. Like, for example, if you're in Kansas City and you're like a mechanical genius, guess what? You're going to go to Houston and start working on rocket ships.
Exactly.
And so what happens
I believe that.
populate. So
a lot of people that you see in New York, they're not New Yorkers. They're from the South, but they're just smart. So they went up there because of the opportunity.
Yeah.
that's what Charlotte is,
But-
honestly.
Yeah.
All I'm
That's the
saying
banking
is,
capital.
if you look at our like elementary school, lesson plans compared to yours, huge difference.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
But the thing is, if any of us get lost in the woods, we could probably survive. If people in New York get lost in the woods,
They
they're
never
like,
seen the woods
where's
before.
the closest Starbucks? Or how they say up there, where's the closest Starbucks? Eh. She's not Asian. She's actually Italian. I mean, I don't know if I should say her last name. But
I feel like
her
you're
last-
adding racist to her every time you bring it up.
No, I'm trying to take as many away as possible. It's only two. I hate that she has the other one. It's just she's black, and then the other one. She's Italiano. You can tell. Look at her nose. She's Italian over here. Got myself an Italian one there. I love her to death, man.
Do you have siblings?
Mm-hmm.
Where are they at right now?
New York. Everyone's in New York. My whole family.
What do they do, like, for work and stuff?
My brother, I have two brothers. I don't know what they're doing. They're young. My brother's younger than me. I think he does construction, and he like works at this car dealership. And my older brother, I don't know what he does. He streams on Twitch.
Oh,
He
yeah?
does something else too.
Even something like that is, like, such an easy thing for Cairo and Riyadh to do because they play the game so often.
And that's how my brother is like Riyadh, like, because I think he's more of a gamer than you slightly.
I'm really not a big gamer. It's just it
Yeah.
helps me pass the time.
You know a lot, but you don't play a
Yeah.
lot.
Like my brother's done like competitions, won money from like gaming competitions and shit like that. Like,
And I tell Riyadh this all the time, like, you don't want to work, just stream all the time.
I always
Yeah.
thought we have to start a cult because people will always follow him. Like he could be a shady pastor. Like I could see Riyadh on the news getting locked up. Saying, "I'll see you next Sunday."
hey, whatever you want to do.